Right, good morning everybody, and welcome to London, and welcome to the third Great Telco Debate. My name is Wilde. I'm going to be co-chairing the day today, and my co-conspirator here is Mr. Chris Lewis over there.
Morning everybody.
We also have in the room Ross, Tanya and Charlotte, who will be helping out with various sessions and also doing some of the logistics. So if there's anything you need to know, you can ask Chris or myself or Ross, Tanya and Charlotte. So Tanya, do you want to put your hand up? There's Tanya at the back over there. Ross is over there between the lights, and Charlotte might be she's in the coffee room at the moment. So, just before we get started, we've got a few formalities that we have to get through. We're not expecting a fire alarm today, so if the fire alarm goes off, it means the building's on fire, probably, and you should make your way to the fire exits, which are over there and over there. And the assembly point is in Trinity Gardens, which is opposite Tower Hill Underground Station. So exit the building, turn left again, that's the assembly point.
Because there and there is no good to me. Will you take me?
Yeah, I'll take you.
Okay, thank you.
Hold my hand. Yeah. I'll take you. So, welcome back to those of you who have been to the Telco Debate before. For those of you who have not been before, let me just explain a little bit about the format of the day. Most of what we're doing today is going to be structured around a series of debates which we think are some of the key issues facing the telecommunications market today. So we'll put the debate motion, which is a statement, up on the screen, and then Chris and I will argue for and against that motion for about a minute each. Just because we've chosen sides randomly by flipping a coin, so just because we're saying things doesn't mean to say necessarily that we believe them. That would have been an unusual statement a year ago, but now saying things that you don't believe seems to be pretty much standard in public life, so I'm sure that you'll all be quite comfortable with that. We're going to have some expert witnesses who will be giving short presentations or talking to us in other formats throughout the day, and that will help us come to some conclusions about the debates. And then we'll be throwing the floor open to you, and we'll invite you to talk into this, which is a microphone called a catch box. And we'll be throwing that around the room. So, sir, would you like to just practice catching the catch box? There we go. And if you speak into it, I'll throw it back to you. If you speak into it now,
hello?
You can hold it right down there. Okay, speak into it.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, fantastic. There we are, that's our first success of the day. So, that's our microphone. And then at the end of the debate, at the end of each series of discussions, we'll have a vote, and you can vote in favour or against the motion. And you will see in front of you, you should have these things here, okay? And we're going to practice now using these things, right? So if you are in favour of the motion, let's pretend you're in favour of the motion. You want to hold up the green thing away from you. Let's see, everybody doing that? Oh, sir, no, you failed the test. You're holding up the red part. You've got to do turn it round. The green part has to be facing away from you. Okay, fantastic. There we go. That's in favour of the motion. Let's try voting against the motion. Oh, look at that. You are so switched on, you guys. Fantastic.
And if you can't decide, you just spin it, or do you just...
If you can't decide, just spin it around. Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be a fairly fast-paced day. We haven't got an awful lot of time, and we've got a lot of things to to fit into the day. So if you do have questions, or if you want to make comments, please keep them pretty short and to the point. Please try to ask only one question at a time, rather than multiple questions. Obviously, turn your phones onto silent. That would be very helpful. And Ross will tell us when it's time to vote. You will get a chance to meet other people in the room when we have our speed networking session, which Ross will organise in the middle of the morning this morning. And finally, you'll see some cameras around the place. We do have TelecomTV with us today. Some of you may already have interview slots with them. I think Martin and Megan will be either in here or out there. So if you want to be famous for 15 minutes, you could go and badger them and get your beautiful face on camera. That's pretty much the format for the day. I'm going to hand over to Chris now, who's going to explain some of the background to the issues that we're going to be talking about and the agenda. So Chris, over to you.
I was just getting a message from Ross, actually. So if you do see me with my earpiece in and my little keyboard going, it's because I'm getting messages from people telling me, like last year, that I'm not standing in the light, so you can't be seen. And I said I'd rather be heard than seen, but we'll see how we get on. So thanks to everybody for being here. As Graham said, the idea behind this came out of I guess, a desire to have a much more open debate about the future of the industry. You know, we all attend supplier events, telco events, indeed analyst events, when we get broadcast to about the sales and marketing pitch. So there is no sales and marketing pitch today. We do have the great telco debate bell for anyone who goes over time or who drifts off into a sales pitch. So I'm sure that won't have to be used by anyone during the course of the day. But the way in which we structure if you put the agenda up for me, please, Ross. The way we've structured the day is that we're going to kick off with a look at the sort of more economics, the role of the telco in the digital world. We'll then look at the customer experience side. We'll then break for as Graham said, for the speed networking, and actually where you all get to meet each other and get a bit of a caffeine top up. And then after that, we'll have our C-level debate, which the more I talk to the participants on the C-level debate, I've decided to call boardroom banter, just to try and get ourselves flowing a bit more. So it is serious, but we want to get a few more comments around the way in which things happen within the lofty heights of the boardroom. And then after lunch, we have Peter Day from the BBC, just recently from the BBC, who's going to summarise the morning for us, just to give us a bit of a catch-up for the afternoon. And then we'll have a debate around the software-shaped telco, as we change thinking around the way that software starts to shape it. That will be followed by a bit of a test that we're trying with very short 3-minute presentations by suppliers. Now, they all assure me they're going to stick to the 3 minutes, so we'll see how that goes. And then we'll have an IoT debate, looking at the role of IoT, moving to smart cities and the value that creates. And then the final major debate will be around 5G and fiber and how those things fit together. And then we'll wrap it up at the end of the day with an analyst panel, because scattered around the room today, there are a number of independent analysts, such as myself and Graham, who work with many different parts of the industry, and we'll use that at the end of the day to wrap it up, see if there's anything that we've missed, and see what the conclusions that they've drawn from listening during the course of the day. So as Graham said, this is about interaction. We positively encourage it. Nobody gets more than 10 odd minutes. One exception to that, but you'll see why in a minute. And we'll try and keep the format changing to keep you engaged. So with the idea of punctuality in mind, and we might even be starting a few minutes ahead of time, I'd like to open up to the first session. And what I tried to do in putting the agendas together was to, of course, hit on the hot topics for the industry, so hence 5G at the end of the day, because it is far enough to think about that it's actually at the end of the day. So we'll look at 5G then. But I wanted to make people think a lot more broadly about how this industry evolves. And as we move into the digital era, for want of a better phrase, then how the telco fits into that digital world. And of course, it's one thing which I've always encouraged whatever analyst teams I'm working with, whether it be the independent group that we work with now, or whether it be in former companies like IDC and Ovum and Yankee and Logica, we always try to encourage analysts to think not just about their one narrow area, but about the broader perspective, how all these things fit together. And then we know that with all the different flavors of convergence, fixed and mobile, IT networking, TV and content, apps and so on, that as that backdrop is there against a flat to shrinking revenue for the total telecom market, and with that, of course, relatively flat investment to build the networks and so on, that we need to think more broadly about how telecoms now, it's no longer the butler answering the phone at the end of the line, that self-contained industry that we used to have, but it's now much more part of this broader digital economy. So I asked Mark Gregory from EY, who's the chief economist at EY, to give us an opening salvo, if you like, looking at how the issue of value creation, value destruction, and some of the economic aspects and how that all fits together.